will just be healing up immediately, and needs to hope that TeD doesn't come in for a coil on this Archmage. If it does actually buy a healing potion as well, which is going to save him for a bit longer. But this Panda is very low now. Obviously being on the Blight doesn't help him, but all the statues and aura does, and so he does have pretty nice hit point regeneration anyways. And first couple breakers coming in now for TeD as well, and obviously lots of normal damage is very nice against all these fiends, but in time they might not become so useful if TeD just decides to change up his strategy, and he's going for second Slaughterhouse now as well as going for the Destro upgrade. And so obviously Destro upgrade very nice against the towers if he can actually get to that point, but it will require a couple of Destros, and I'm not sure if he's going to have the economy to sustain that as well as continue with this push. And still 0-0 upgrades on the fiends. Obviously TeD has had to invest a lot of his economy in this actual pushing, and so he hasn't had the money just to spend on getting upgrades and things like that for his, or attack upgrades at least. And meanwhile TeD's expansion has been up and running for a very long time, so as to whether he has the actual economy advantage, I'm not sure, because he's had to spend so much money just building and repairing these towers constantly. And really, with the pressure that TeD's managed to put on, it's been really nice. And Panda getting bolted there right in the range of Arcane Tower, and so losing all his mana. But these two Destros are not coming in, and you can see they just sort of completely destroy this one tower, but then do have to move back because of the other towers and, well, TeD's other units posing a threat to those fiends. And the Destros do come straight back in, though, obviously trying to take down this one Arcane Tower. There's no water elementals about, and that's going to be really bad for TeD, because it's going to mean that if he does try to bring out any more water elementals, the Destros can just absorb them and use them against him. But he does really need those water elementals, because they're pretty much the only proper range damage he has. Obviously breakers are slightly ranged, but not tremendously. And TeD now has one burrowed fiend actually within sort of TeD's area, and TeD does have this workshop hub, so if he does get a flying machine, then he could lose it. But TeD getting one fiend coiled there, or sorry, bolted and then coiled, and does actually burrow at the last second, and looks like he will survive. Very nice there by TeD, and you can see he's just being healed up so quickly between the burrow and the healing effect of the statues. He's not on plate, but he really doesn't need it, because you can see he's already up to 200 hit points. And Magic Sentry, I think, yeah, Magic Sentry's now been researched, and so that one fiend does go down. But still very nice there for TeD. And these two destroyers are not coming back in. Obviously there's not too much TeD can do against the destroyers. Obviously his towers counter them, and the Archmage can hit them, but that's about it until he gets these. Actually going for mortars first, that's a bit surprising. I guess he wants to just stick them in the back of his base and have them fire down on the fiends. But with Lich now out for TeD as well, and TeD taking a lot of damage on that Lich immediately. Going for Nova first, that's not too surprising, because there's not much melee, and so Frost Armor wouldn't be too useful. But he does have an orb, and that's going to be really useful for focusing down these units. Mountain King being forced to use a healing potion, and TeD now just sort of sitting on this Blight, trying to heal up a bit. He does have a couple low fiends, and deciding that it'd be better just to move back in now. And obviously between fiends and the orb, he has such tremendous focusing fire that he can really take down these breakers quite quickly. And so TeD has to be really careful to keep his breakers right back on the back of his face. And TeD putting down one more tower now, upgrading it to a guard tower, which is probably a good choice against all these Destros here. And more footmen actually moving in now for TeD. Obviously with defend they managed to sort of stay alive for a while, but I'm surprised that he's still building them. It seemed like there was one moving in there. Maybe I missaw, maybe he brought it up from earlier. And meanwhile TeD now converting a couple more destroyers, sucking up all their mana. I think this is going to be quite a powerful push here from TeD, and he's going to try and take down the guard towers first. Obviously they do the most damage, and it looks like TeD isn't really microing his arcane towers to attack. And meanwhile TeD's Lich is now very low, but does manage to get away, and obviously with that blade it's gonna, and the aura, it's gonna really help him get back to full health quite quickly. And these Destros have been brought out from the towers, so they did manage to take down that guard tower. It looks like they're going for another tower now, and actually now they are going for this arcane tower now. And Death Knight now taking a fair bit of damage, but no bolt there from the Mountain King. No mana actually for one now, but does pop a clarity, and so he will probably have one later on. And meanwhile I think we're going to see a little break here, at least in the action, just while TeD and TeD sort of build up armies again. TeD has 1-0 upgrades on his breakers, and TeD has accidentally aggroed the creeps by the looks of things, and so he will take a bit of damage here. And Tod now using his mortars here just to try and take down one of these slaughterhouses. It looks like TeD actually went shopping there, and I'm not sure what he bought. He bought a invuln pot by the looks of things for his death knight, just because of that mountain king, I guess. And a very nice staff there, a very low mortar at the last second. Very nice play there by Tod, and so that means that we do have a human. Tod has gone tier 3 now, I guess. Yeah, he has gone tier 3, and is building. No, he's not building any hero by the things. It's a bit surprising, because I think he does at some point go a paladin. I haven't seen this game for about a year, but I'm pretty sure at one point he will go for a paladin, just to increase his nuking power. And now finally 2 masonry upgrades for Tod, and that's going to be really useful. As you can see, it's taking Tod quite a while, even with all his fiends and destros, just to take down that one tower. And the panda is now level 3 as well, and that's going to be very useful for him, obviously, for that breath of fire, as long as he can stay out of range of that arcane tower. And there is a paladin. I was sure there was a paladin out for Tod, but it immediately gets called Nova and goes down. And TeD now taking a lot of damage on this one fiend. I think he might have forgot about it and actually burrows and then unburrows it. A bit careless there by TeD. Guess he wasn't paying attention to it or something, and so he does lose it. But he loses it to tower, so there's not even any experience lost. And meat wagon's coming out now for TeD. I guess he's going for more of a siege game now rather than moving into the towers, because Tod will have a fair few towers up in a second, but he will be quite exposed to sort of a siege game. And flying machines finally coming out for Tod. Obviously now these tier 3 you can get flat cannons and really do a lot of damage to these destros. And Tod's arcane vault actually taking a lot of damage. I wonder if this is the only one, and so TeD wants to stop him from producing breakers, but obviously that wouldn't be too much of a delay, because you can just rebuild them quite quickly. But this first meat wagon is now out, and looks like it's just going to start putting some damage onto this town hall, but it will take a very long time to actually take down the town hall. But this one priest getting caught a bit out here, and obviously between the fiends and the orb it goes down super quickly. And a second meat wagon now out for TeD, and no upgrades on it, but actually no upgrades still for any of his units. I'm surprised he hasn't gone for at least a couple upgrades now, but 4 flying machines now out for Tod. He's going to need a lot more than that if he wants to take out those destroyers. And if TeD scouted these flying machines, he could just get web and take out all of them, just with his current fiends. And the panda is now bolted again, does lose all his mana, so Panda not being really put to too much effectiveness in this mid game. And TeD has now researched web, and so Tod does lose a couple of his flying machines just to web, and but they do manage to get in here. And as you can see, Tod seems to be going for a pretty hard push here, bringing in a lot of militia on top of everything else. But TeD's flying machines aren't winning the aerial battle, and so that aerial advantage is going to go to TeD, and it's going to mean that he can continue to absorb these water elementals. Yep, and there everyone goes. You can see it was absorbed pretty much immediately. TeD is going to lose this one fiend by the looks of things, but between the effect of his towers and actually a very nice staff there on the paladin, but lots of militia turning back to peasants now, which are actually alright against fiends, as long as you have enough of them, and they can just sort of absorb the damage. But the panda does go down as well, and but as long as you have enough peasants, you can really sort of distract your opponent. Obviously they don't do tremendous damage, but they are good just at sort of blocking out your opponent's heroes and stuff like that. And so TeD does sort of get the best out of that battle, but does have 6 destros out now as well, so obviously it has in theory a economy disadvantage, but obviously he's doing so much damage to Tod's economy that it's really meaning that Tod's having to spend a lot of money just repairing and building new towers and repairing his town hall. And so it's actually a very nice play there by TeD in terms of just negating the effect of this expansion. And TeD's 2 meat wagons taking a lot of damage now. Obviously they can't be healed by the statues, but they can be healed by the aura, and so they will come back to health pretty quickly, because Death Knight is currently level 4, so level 2 aura is pretty strong. 4-3-3 I think for TeD, although his panda was dead. Or sorry, is dead I think, and probably still reviving. And 1-1, you can see how little experience the Mountain King still has, hitting out for ages. 1-1, sorry, 3 for Tod. And so certainly the hero advantage to TeD, and that's not surprising considering that TeD's had so many towers up, especially. And another destro push coming in here, but I imagine TeD's going to move back as soon as those flying machines come in, because he can't fight the flying machines and the towers. And so he will just continue sort of sieging this town hall here. And meanwhile Tod now does have lots of flying machines, and obviously would like to fight without the fiends if at all possible, but I don't think that's going to be possible for him, and so he will need to just find an opportune time, build up perhaps a larger army. Yeah, he's only at 60 food at the moment compared to TeD's. I imagine he's more. TeD's 80 food, and so Tod's gonna probably want to move up to 100 food. Tod's pretty well known for going to actually 100 food and then pushing, and sort of saying upkeep be damned, really. But I think that's probably will be his best move. Maybe if he went for a couple, tanks as well, they could be pretty good, especially if he could sneak some out and send them to TeD's base, because that would really bring TeD away from his this current siege, and so it could actually win the game for him. And TeD losing one fiend there, but certainly not the end of the world for him, because he does just manage to focus down a couple units as well of Tod's, and Tod's really going to need to be careful to lose as few units as possible, because obviously TeD's obviously getting a lot of experience from this, whereas